Alright, lovely people, we're back. It is May 8th, 2013. And this is the KNKL Show, episode 50! Or KNKL Livestream, episode 50, part 2! And we're going to continue right where we left off. Thank you guys for waiting while I got the stream all fixed. Now, we're in business! Yes! I love it! Okay, cool. So, we are good to go here now. We're feeling good. I noticed while I was resetting the stream, got a couple questions coming in from Gyrofied. I hope I said that right. If not, you are now Gyrofied. Keenan, quick question about the contest. Can we enter more than one drawing? Yes! You may enter as many drawings as you like. However, only one of your entries can be considered. Like, if you place, then I can't obviously have you take 2 prizes. So, yes, you can enter as many as you want. And, yeah, all that good stuff. Just don't expect to get the baby giraffe and the big giraffe. Those need to be split up and sent to 2 different locations in the world so that their power can be safely contained. You know what I'm saying? The power must be separated and controlled. Alright, so we got this. Let's make sure we put in a little bit of our sound effects. And then she's going to be like, oh no! Those poor zombies. Yeah, this is going to be good. This is going to be very, very good. And then sometimes I like to quickly kind of draw in little bubbles, like whenever the characters will be saying something. I just like to keep it in mind during these points, like when I'm sketching. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and move back from here, okay? Because going any further is going to start to give away too much of the story. And we don't want to do that quite yet. So, let's go ahead and figure out what these bikes are going to look like. These bikes with the foldy, outy thingies. In fact, I have some good references that I want to use. So I'm going to go ahead and pull those up right now. Because I figured, you know, you got these little swivelly things that come out off the wheel. So naturally you have to have a lot of room there. Because, I mean, you can see a little bit of what's going on over here. And I thought, well, hey, that would be cool if it was like a chopper bike, you know, that has those huge wheels that are way out in front of you. That way it has plenty of space to have like an opening and closing hinge effect. So let's go ahead and look at that. Where are we? Where are we? Here we go. Yeah, so something kind of like this. Like that. Cool chopper design. So I'm going to put that over to the side. And I'll just be using that for some inspiration. And let's go ahead and get started on that, shall we? Let's go ahead and get started on that. Alright. So I'm actually going to sketch that over here. And it's going to be called Cycle. Cycle. Okay, so far I know what I want the hinges to look like, but I do need to design the bike. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Ooh, actually, I got a good little sketch inside of here. I think I might base it off of this thing. Dude, this looks awesome. It's like super rudimentary, but I wonder if you can actually see it. It's that little guy right there. See him? That one. That's what we're going with. Oh, hey. The autofocus actually worked. Wow. Huh. Cool. I didn't know that actually worked. I like it. Things are just going right. Things are just going right. Alright, so I'm going to base it off of this thing because I love the shapes that are happening here. I'm just going to try to replicate these. Just going to try to replicate these shapes that I got going on in my little sketchy bookie. So we got this. Yeah, that's cool. So it's got like this thing coming up here. Yeah, and then we got this guy over here. We got the dude riding like that, kicking back. Oh, whoa, he's a little bit too far back. He's a little too big. He needs to be more like that. He's really kicking back. And something is happening here. Yeah, that looks cool. Yeah, sweet. Okay, and then we got our light here. And can you guys see basically what's going on here? Like how I go about concepting stuff like this? It's all just very, very simple playing around with shapes. Not worrying about, oh, how's this thing actually going to function? How's it going to look? You know, just worry about the outer silhouette, what looks cool, and then you move from there. So I'm going to go ahead and give it one of these things. I really like the look of this dude that I drew on here. I'll try to copy that as much as I can. If I can't draw this guy exactly how I drew him in the sketchbook, I'm gonna scan him. I'm gonna scan him and photocopy him. Because this guy looks so sick. That's basically what's happening there. Cool, so we got this thing happening over here. I got this giant thing sticking out. This is actually sticking out even further. You got the giant chopper bike wheel out front. And this gives us plenty of swivel room to have our thingy, the battering ram piece coming off there. And it has little grill holes inside of it. And it's basically fastened to the wheel here. And it just kind of like flips out. You know what I mean? So like if you were looking at it from the front, this would be the wheel. And then it's like these little plates that sit on the side of it. And then when they engage them, they pop out like this. Right? Like little wings. And they have holes in them for aerodynamics. And because it looks cool. And then somebody who's driving up next to him can have that same thing going on. And then these things will kind of latch together and lock together to make like a giant wall. And then a cool little wheel that just kind of like sucks the bodies underneath it. Just like tears them apart. Tear the other side apart. Like it. Yes, so we like some good old-fashioned zombie barricade thingies. Mobile zombie barricades. Like it. Yeah, that looks cool. Looks really cool. Okay, so I like a little bit of what's happening here. This looks good. So here's the footrest area. So this guy will have his feet up like this. And he'll just be kicking back like that. Looking all cool. And I'll have his arms up like that. Looks good. I'm going to actually place this light up a little bit further. It's going to be up like that. I just like the way that this kind of flows, and I want to continue that up into that area. So I get this guy going. Looks really good. Now let's go ahead and draw our little drivetrain thing. It's powering this. Yes! What little I do know about bikes. I do know that they need to have some sort of driving mechanism. Let's go ahead and make that wheel. Make it a 5-spoke, beefy looking wheel thing. Looking good! Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Now that looks like a cool, beefy looking bike. I like it. I still got to get all the little intricacies of like whatever happens in here. Looks like there's like a pipe or something, and then of course you have like the engine and stuff. But we're not going to worry about that right now because I probably won't end up putting that much detail into it anyway. So let's go ahead and bring this up. Let's draw our little brakes in there. And we'll draw the guy with his hand on it. That looks good. Looks pretty dang cool. Pretty dang cool if I do say so myself. Love that, man. I love that. Little handkerchief blowing in the wind and all that good stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Let's give him his cool biker boots. Can't forget the biker boots. And I might want to make these guys a little bit more beefy, you know? I didn't draw too many beefy dudes. I'll make these guys like extra beefy. They're the battering ram experts. They got the extra inertia in their bodies, just like slam through some zombies. Like it. That looks cool. I've definitely been noticing a lot more bikers. Ever since I started drawing bikers in this comic, they just like start appearing everywhere. Like, and I barely drive my car anywhere, but every time I'm out, I always see like people riding their bikes. They're riding their motorcycles. And I'm always just like watching them. I'm always just like looking at them. And then they look at me and I'm just like, act like I wasn't staring. I don't want them to beat me up. I'm like, no, I was just taking mental reference for my comic. No, I shouldn't tell them. They'll be like, what? You make a comic? Heck yeah, dude. Be like, yeah. You want to be in it? Don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. I like it. Liking this. Liking this. Liking that. Liking that. Someone's asking what kind of tablet I use. I use a Wacom or Wacom Intuos 4, right? My little brother just got the Intuos 5, and it pains me to say that it actually has like problems, like the drivers keep crashing or something. It's just not as responsive as the Intuos 4, and it kind of pisses me off because you're supposed to get like the leading edge of technology, right, with your new product that you release, and friggin' Wacom releases this piece of crap that just doesn't work, and so that just ticks me off. And I'm hoping that they'll fix it with the drivers in the next coming months. Because if not, we're sending it back. We'll just buy a used Intuos 4 off of eBay or something. Because that is unacceptable. All right. But yeah, I really like my Intuos 4. It's really nice. It's been true to me. It's been true to me. It's really responsive. It never crashes. And it just does a good job. Does a good job when I need it to. Put a little bit of this rim detail in there. Yeah, I love drawing motorbikes now. It's actually made me want a motorbike. Ever since I started drawing them in the comic, I was like, dang, it'd be cool to get one of these. It'd be really cool to get one of these. So yeah, good times ahead. Alrighty, so with that out of the way, I'm liking that so far. That's a pretty good. It's a pretty good start. It's a pretty good start for our concept there. Really liking that. How much time we got? Oh, we still got about 20 minutes. Probably just keep chugging away at this. Ken is saying he hasn't had any problems with his Intuos 5 yet, so that's good. Maybe it might just be the one that we got that's messed up. So in that case, we need to return it and get another one because this one just keeps messing up. I don't know if it's like a compatibility issue with Windows 7 or something, but it just doesn't work half the time. I mean, it works, right? But then it'll just like crash like at least once a day. And you gotta like unplug it, plug it back in, sometimes restart Photoshop, restart the computer. You gotta do all this stuff just to get your freaking tablet working. And that is just unacceptable. Unacceptable. Okay, so that's cool. All right, so we've got our concept for our cool bikes coming up here. It's looking pretty good. I'm very, very happy with that. Very, very happy with that. All right, so let's go ahead and move into sketches again, and I'm just going to be cleaning stuff up. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and actually open it up to questions. Let's open up questions right now, and then I'm probably going to end the stream just a little bit early today, guys, because I kind of promised myself I would take it easy, you know, because of like my back and everything. Things have been going kind of wonky with it. So I'm probably going to answer questions, and then we'll end a little bit early today, if that is okay with you. I do apologize, but that is the way it must be. Alright, so now that we got this going on, I need to pull up the three-wheel bike, Clem's bike. Where's Clem's bike? There we go. Clem's awesome bike. Because he's going to be right up here. Yeah, he's going to be right up here. I was just looking at this to see I did two different panel designs down here. I'm just trying to figure out which one I like more. The kind of 3/4 one or the head-on one. I personally like this one because it feels a lot more intense and a lot more cool, so I decided to go with that one. But now I got to get this little design of the top-down version of Clem's bike in. So let's go ahead and clean that up a little bit. So we're going to have his hands coming up top here. And I like to call this the GTA angle. For those of you who played the old Grand Theft Auto, all you do is you look down on top of your character and they're like this all the time. And they're running like this. So that's what we're doing here. We're drawing top-down angles. You get to draw heads, shoulders, and arms and all that stuff. Tons of fun. I'll draw like the edge of his jacket there. Lizard Pants is asking about how did I come up with the concept for this comic? And this is a good question. I like this. It was originally gonna be just like, originally it was just kind of a fun idea or just a fun drawing that I did of just this little girl and like these zombies like coming up from behind her, right? For those of you who got the digital download edition of issue 1, you can see some of the old concept art of Emma in there. And yeah, it just started out as a fun little drawing that I did. And I was like, oh, I kind of like that, like little girl fighting zombies. How cool is that? So then, of course, I was like, well, I wonder if I could make a comic. I've always wanted to make a comic, but I wonder if I could like make it out of that. And I was like, yeah. And then my original idea was just gonna be, you know, this girl fighting zombies. There's no other characters. There's no biker gang. There's nothing else. And it was probably going to get pretty stale and pretty old pretty quickly. But luckily, while I was working at Riot, I had the chance to meet some very, very talented people from the comic industry. And one of them including John Boy Myers. He worked for Marvel and DC as a comic book artist. And luckily, I had the opportunity to be on the other side of the interviewing table, right? He came in because he was looking for a job from us. And I was on the other side of the table interviewing him, and I was like, yo, what's up? And so, naturally, being there, I was like, oh, I should probably take advantage of this. So I was like, so what, in your opinion, goes into making a good comic story, right? Just like talking about comics, right? And I was just like taking notes on everything he's saying. We were like, well, I really believe in the rule of three, right? And I was like, oh, really? Oh, yeah, the rule of three. Yeah, what is that again? You know, it's like, well, the rule of three is that, you know, you have a comic or a story with three characters in it, and if they're well-rounded and developed, then basically just those three characters come together and the story will write itself. And he says, you know, it's always been there, you know, like in all the Shakespearean plays, there's always like the love triangles. There's always some sort of, and it doesn't always have to be love interest, but just three characters that interact with each other always make for a great story. And there's just something magical about the number three when you're working with storytelling and characters. So it's like, oh yes, of course, yes, three. So immediately I started thinking, okay, I gotta put two more characters in this comic. Who are they gonna be? And immediately I got to work on thinking about Nico, right? Nico is another really cool character, and I'm really glad that I thought to put him in it, obviously, and as well. And then Nico branched into, oh, what if he was part of this pirate biker gang, right? And they just go around and they loot things, and they take prisoners, and then, you know, there's all these other things that you're gonna find out about later that I can't give away. But you know, what if there was like this biker gang, and then the third character, for those of you who saw me working on the concept art, you'll know that there is a character named Jack. But we don't know exactly when he's going to be coming in, but he will be making his entrance shortly. But he's the third character that's going to basically round out the cast, the three main characters of this comic. And yeah, I really enjoyed that advice given to me by him, and by John Boy, obviously. And he's just kind of served as, I don't know, I just kind of showed him some of the layouts. Like when I was getting ready to start the comic, I talked to him. I was like, hey, dude, I'm thinking about starting this web comic. Could you please take a look at my panels and tell me, you know, what you like, what you don't like, what I'm doing well, and what you would change. And he basically took them and he's like, whoa, these are actually pretty good. Like, these are pretty good to go as they are. I just got like a couple little notes right here. He taught me about, you know, breaking the panel, the rule of breaking the panel. I used to always break the panel. Like if a character's talking, I'll just have his chat bubble out of here. Or just like, if there's a wheel here, I'll have it just like barely sticking over the edge of the panel. And he said, you know, save breaking the panel. Save it for when you really want to emphasize an action or a character doing something, right? Because it just conveys so much power if you save it up and then you finally let it go, right? And whereas if you break the panel every time and then you break it on an action shot, it's just, oh, okay, it's just another part of the comic. So I'm really glad that he taught me about that too. So naturally, he was just pretty much a badass, and he taught me a lot of really cool things about comic making. That kind of all contributed to the story. And then I had some awesome friends who really stepped in and helped me out with the development of the story. One of those friends being David Ellison, and the other being Jake Spino. And those guys have been helping me write and come up with story points basically since the beginning. And some of the best ideas have come from my friends. Like David, it was David's idea to give Emma giant boots, right? I remember the first time he brought this idea up to me, because originally she was gonna have like cute little, you know, like those little slippers with the little strap that goes over the toes, you know, kind of like the, I don't know what they are. They're just like the cute little slip-on shoes. And that was originally what Emma was gonna be. And he's like, Emma should just have these big old combat boots. And I was like, I'll try it, you know, but I was kind of skeptical, and I was like, I'm just going to try it just to appease him, and, you know, I'm probably not going to use it, you know, but then, of course, after I did it, I looked at it, and I was like, whoa, that's awesome, right? Like, this character is awesome. I love the boots. So, you know, things like that. And then Jake came up with the idea of Clem, you know, Tank's right-hand man. He's kind of like the funny, maybe a little bit more sinister pirate guy, you know, but he kind of introduces a little bit more of that comic relief into the story that I was so much looking for, because I really wanted to have a comic that told a story in like a grim, like it's an immersive, grim experience, right? It's a zombie apocalypse. Everybody's like dead, and there's going to be lots of violence and awesome action scenes, but at the same time, I didn't want the comic to be depressing, right? Or boring or predictable, or eventually it's like it's not even about the zombies, it's just like all the drama that's happening between all the other characters, which is okay, but it's just kind of like, I don't know, that's a common thing that I see. It's like I just want zombies, right? I just want lots of zombies. I mean, there's only been like one zombie in this so far, but now we got our zombie horde coming up here. One of the first big things of zombies, and then we'll have some more coming up here in the later issues, in the later parts. But I just really wanted something that kind of went back to like, and especially like slow zombies, right? Because everything in Hollywood nowadays is all about fast zombies. All the zombie movies are all just like they're running, sprinting at you, and it's just kind of like I want the dumb, slow Resident Evil 1 zombies. That's what I want. I like that. So that's kind of what I'm setting out to do with this. Alright, and that is looking good. Cool. Drawing top-down bikes is not an easy thing. It's not an easy thing. That was a great question. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, my good man. Who has that question? Lizard? Mr. Lizard? Yes. Helgen Warfare is asking, are we going to see how the apocalypse came to be? Yes, that is definitely, I mean, that's always a good point. Everybody wants to know, how did the apocalypse happen? How did everybody get like this, right? And that is definitely a story point that I want to jump into later on down the line in the comic. Right now, as of right now, like discovering what the cause of it all is probably isn't going to be happening anytime soon, but I will be getting to that in future parts of the comic. Yes, yes, yes. Cool, so this is looking really good. I'm liking this a lot. Alright, so let's go ahead and get our guys. Let's get our guys on our choppers kind of filled in here too. Also, Tank is looking a little bit small compared to Clem, so let's make him a little bit bigger. A little bit bigger, and we got about 10 minutes left, so I'm going to take a few more questions, and then we're going to call it good.
I have a question for you.
What
kind of pizza do you want?
Where are you going?
Little Caesars.
Can you give me ham and pineapple?
Or
Or does it have to be like a...
we have to call ahead. Do you have to call ahead for ham and pineapple? Like them, have them make it? It's not ready? Oh, okay. Yeah, ham and pineapple.
Sweet! Yeah, please.
Alright, cool.
Thanks. Excellent question coming in from Views. Can we get some more questions like that, please? Alright. These are actually looking pretty good. I'm liking these top-down shots of the bikers here. These are looking very, very good. I was actually a little bit weary, or like leery of doing these. I was like, I don't know, top down, it might look kind of cheesy, might look like Grand Theft Auto, but these actually look pretty good. I really like them. Liking them. Ja likes them. Alright, so now we gotta do our chopper dudes. Dang, these guys are cool. Love these dudes. Okay, so let's go ahead and get in there. Let's save, right? Let's save like good little artists. We save our work because we don't like to do things over and over and over again. Sora80 is asking, do I work alone? Most of the time I do. Yes, most of the time. Working on the illustrations, yes, I do work alone. But with the comic and everything, right now, as I'm getting the business started, it's kind of like, hey, whoever wants to step in and help me out with this, that's cool. I'll get you a credit in the comic. Anybody can step in or step out as much as you want. But yes, I am building this. Like, my vision for this comic is to build a company. I want to be able to generate the capital and the money to actually start employing people to help me out with all these different things, because I'm starting to notice that, you know, creating a company and creating a brand and a comic is a lot more than just sitting down and making the comic, right? You got to manage the website. You got to do social media nowadays. You know, you got to do all this stuff. You got to promote. You got to, you know, do. I mean, I like the fact that I can do simultaneously videos on YouTube and do this here. So I think that's really cool. But, you know, there's all these extra skills that you have to learn. And there's lots of things that I want to do with this comic that are going to take, you know, some extra learning. You know what I mean? It's going to take some extra skills, or finding the people with the skills that I don't have at the moment. And I really like it when that happens. In fact, a lot of people have been I mean, just viewers of the comic and of the show have been stepping up and being like, hey, I really want to help you with this. I'm good at, you know, creating websites. I'm good at promoting these things. And I love it, like the fact that it feels like almost like I'm attracting people to me to like be a part of this experience. And I'm hoping that sooner than later I can get them employed and give them jobs and become an amazing company. Yes, that is my plan. That is my plan. Alright. But yes, for now I do work alone. I'm alone. Okay. So. But man, I gotta tell you, like, just doing this, just the people that I've met so far doing this have just absolutely blown my mind. People just, like, connections through Riot have really helped. Just people that view the comic, people that just like comics in general, people that are in the industry, or people that do stuff like that I do. Like this guy, Scott Johnson, he's a big guy in the World of Warcraft community. He does a podcast, and he's also a comic book artist, right? So he's basically like what I want to be, and he's like my sensei, he's like my mentor. So, and I luckily, and the coolest part about that is, I recently moved to Utah, as you know, and he actually lives just right down the street. And that's freaking awesome. Like, how cool is that? Like, what are the odds that somebody who's doing exactly what I'm doing and what I hope to become lives literally right down the street from me, and thinks the stuff that I did for Riot is cool, so he likes hanging out with me and talking to me, and he's just a nice guy in general, and he likes the comic. You know, what are the odds? So I definitely like when those lucky things happen, and I like meeting cool people. And speaking of that, I really want to start getting more into getting ready to start doing conventions. I really want to start getting ready to do more conventions, going to the Comic Cons, going to the Kamikazes, going to the Dragons, going to everything. Everything that, you know, all those comic book people go to. And speaking of that, Scott Johnson has a convention of his own called Nerdtacular, and he invited me to go. So I was like, oh, well, that's a good time for me to get some experience with doing these conventions, and you know, I'd probably be willing to help out like at a merch booth or something, just figure out how that stuff is done. Because I actually haven't gone to many conventions. I went to the first annual BlizzCon, but I won tickets to go for free through the art contest. How cool is that? I was really, really happy. I won tickets for me and my friend Jake to go, and that was really, really fun. That was an awesome experience, and I got to meet my idol, Samwise Didier, who works over there at Blizzard. He's an art director now, and his art basically inspired me to get into video games. And yeah, just an amazing man, and I was super happy that I got to meet him. Yeah, that looks cool, except that guy is massive. We need to shrink you down a little bit. Okay. But yeah, also one of the other challenges that I'm noticing that's prevalent in comics is you have to learn how to draw everything from every angle. You know what I mean? It's like I've never drawn motorcycles, but now I got to draw a motorcycle from top down, looking down at this guy, and it's a chopper, and you got to design stuff. It's like, okay, I want to create this battering ram. So these little things are going to fold out. You know, I mean, I don't know exactly what's going on in here, but you know, luckily it's covering it so we don't need to see everything. We'll just kind of like put some little arms on there, something that looks plausible, like a spring release or something that would make these things pop out, or like a mechanical type thing. But yeah, I really like the challenge of having to draw characters, like bodies, actions, vehicles. I think vehicles is a big thing that a lot of artists, either they do well in comics or they're kind of like, maybe you should I don't know, use like a SketchUp model or something, because that doesn't look very good. But luckily, with the style of this comic, I don't have to draw perfectly, what's the word, like geometric cars. They don't need to look perfect and smooth, because I think the style kind of allows for some organicness to the vehicles. And yeah, at least for right now. I'm doing it kind of like Scott Pilgrim did it, where the vehicles are all kind of like rough in the beginning, and then at the end he got like his own background artist, and then the vehicles are all like perfect, like the backgrounds are all like perfect, and it looks like super professional. But you compare it to the beginning, and the backgrounds are all just like scratched in, like scribbled in. They look really, really messy, but they still got the job done, and they looked okay with that style. So, all right, people. I said I was going to end early, but actually, you guys got me some good questions. So you made me very, very happy. Thank you very much. I'm going to go ahead and end today. Sorry, I'm not going to be able to get to all of your questions. But yeah, we had ourselves a good day today. Now I get to rest and go have some pizza and yeah, enjoy the rest of my day. So thank you guys once again for joining me for whatever Wednesday, the KNKL live stream, day 50. You guys take care of yourselves. Oh, I gotta upload or grab the epic music. You guys take care of yourselves. I'll see you tomorrow. We're actually going to be doing a Thoughtful Thursday. We're going to be talking about brainstorming, a little bit more of the force of the artist, talking about life, philosophy, and feeling good and how to do so, or the ways that I do it. And yeah, we'll do it then. And you guys take care, and I'll see you tomorrow.